Right, today we're going to look at the rest of the Nirvana Patisanyutta Sutta. That is Nirvana Patisanyutta Sutta 2, 3 and 4. And this is found in the ST 50, numbers 2, 3 and 4. They're all interrelated. They were probably given by Buddha at different times, but with the same theme as a reflection on Nirvana. We can't really describe Nirvana, we can't really define. Perhaps you can try to describe Nirvana, but you can't really define Nirvana. We can use words to kind of try to review our understanding of Nirvana, if you like. So it's like you're looking at the water, but you don't know how deep the water is, you don't know what kind of creatures lie in the water, what kind of composition is the water, but the water is clear and there is this very beautiful image. You can see this reflection, you can see the sky, you can see yourself. So in a sense, Nirvana is like that, how we are looking at it today. So let us look at Nirvana Patisanyutta 2, the second discourse related to Nirvana, U 8.2. And the theme here is the band-free anatta on Nirvana formula. Now let's look at the sutta first, on page 30. The introduction is the same. Thus have I heard, at one time the Blessed One was residing in Anathapindika's park, and so on. And then the Buddha gives this Dhamma talk, and the monks listen attentively. Then the Blessed One, knowing the significance of the occasion, in other words, you notice the monks are very peaceful, very ready, very inspired, he uttered this stanza: Dudasang anatang nama, nahi satchang sudasanang, Pativida tanha janato pasato nati kinchananti. Meaning, the band-free is hard to see, for not easily seen is the truth. Craving is penetrated by one who knows. For the seer, there is no thing, or for the seer, it is without anything. So there's a lot of play on words here, because here we're talking about something that is quite beyond words. But the key word here is anatta, A-N-A-T-A, which has caused some problems in the translation of the Pali actually. So we have, for example, the reading anatta, meaning non-self, and we also have the reading amata, meaning the death-free, both of which in a sense can describe Nirvana. But we follow the principle of the difficult readings is usually the best reading. Moreover, it still makes good sense in this context when we talk about Nirvana to use the word anatta, meaning without any band, unbent. So what is the band here? What is this theme about bend and bending and the bend in terms of Nirvana? We find in other stock passages which talks about when we practice the Dharma, then we bend, we tend, we are prone towards Nirvana, just like the river waters kind of tend to flow into the sea. So in other words, if we practice the Dharma, somehow we will move on and head for Nirvana, if you like, steadily. On the other hand, here anatta is used in a negative sense. We can bend the other way. And what makes us bend the other way? Of course, it would be the three unwholesome roots. It would be on a deeper level, the various unconscious tendencies or latent tendencies, anusaya, especially greed, hate, delusion. So when we bend in that direction, so we kind of get caught up, one thing leading to another, but all the time away from Nirvana. So if we're caught up in that way, then of course we would not be heading for Nirvana. So the theme is here the band free. So the mind, our mind, is free from this tendency resulting from greed, hate, or delusion. So we kind of we move on steadily. When we journey on the path, we are not distracted by anything along the way. We keep to the straight path. We keep moving forward. We may be slow. We may even stop a while, but we will always move ahead. So in this sense, we are band free. But here, the first line says the band free is difficult to see. So what is this band free here? Well, we can say the band free here is the path. The path is straight. That doesn't bend in any way. But if we are distracted, if we are lost in the fog, for example, or this path is covered up by jungle, vana is also a very common imagery for ignorance or craving. It covers up this path and you can't see it. So we need to clear up all this, what we call the plants and undergrowth, debris and so on. So this straight road, which is bend free, is not easy to see. On the higher level, we can say Nirvana itself is band free. It's not easy to see Nirvana because you don't see Nirvana with these eyes. In a sense, you close your eyes to see Nirvana with your inner peace. But it's possible to see. Okay, so anyway, the next line says, "For not easily seen is the truth." So here we have, on the mental level, we need some understanding before we head for Nirvana. The understanding of a non-returner, or once returner, and the stream winner. There are various levels of truth which we need to understand. And the key idea here is that craving needs to be removed, in other words. And the reason is quite simple. Craving is what holds us back to this world by the notion that something's lacking in us, and we keep looking for what we see as missing through the five senses, the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. We are caught up trying to look for this so-called missing thing. We don't know what it is, but we think that it can be found, or it is this object of pleasure that arises through the five physical senses, and also in the mind, the sixth sense. So because the mind is so preoccupied with liking, disliking, and ignoring these sense experiences, the mind is caught up. The mind is not at peace. The mind is bent towards these sense experiences. On the other hand, the seer is the one who says, okay, I'm not going to look at all this. I'm only going to see this peace before me, peace on Nirvana, if you like. So for the seer, there is no thing. Here, thing represents whatever we experience through our physical senses, and the mind creating, projecting ideas behind this sensing, these experiences. So the mind is free from all this, from the bending and from this idea that there is a thing before us. Right, so this is a short reflection on the Sutta 2. Now let's look at Sutta 3, the Patisamyutta Sutta 3, EU 8.3, the third discourse related to Nirvana. And the introduction is the same. The Buddha is residing in Anathapindika's park, and he teaches the monk something. The monk is very attentive and very peaceful, very inspired. Then he decides to utter this udana. So these are joyful utterances. Bhikshus, there is the non-born, non-become, non-created, non-conditioned. ajatang, abhutang, akatang, asankatang. If bhikshus there were no non-born, non-become, non-created, non-conditioned, then no escape would be possible, or no escape would be discerned here from the born, the become, the created, the conditioned. But bhikkhus, since there is the non-born, non-become, non-created, non-conditioned, then escape is discerned from the born, the become, the created, the conditioned. So here again it is a very short but very profound statement on the nature, pointing to the nature of nirvana. First of all, there is in our world, or in us, what is called the born. We are born, we arise in this world, and we become this, become that, and then we do this, we do that, and we form ideas. So these are the four words: jatang, bhutang, katang, asanka, and the last is sankatang. So nirvana is you have some adjectives here, which kind of, in a sense, describes nirvana as the non-born, non-become, non-created, non-conditioned. Now, some translators use unborn, unbecome, uncreated, unconditioned. Here we have a bit of a problem of English language. If we were to say something is unborn, it's almost like we are thinking that it is there, but it is not being born, but it's there. It's just like we will never say that nirvana is nothing. Because if you say nirvana is nothing, then you are comparing it to something. Because you can only understand nothing when it's contrasted with something. So it's a kind of relative term. So it's not a very good term to describe nirvana, even on the simple unawakened level. On the other hand, if you say nirvana is non-born, it means that nirvana has nothing to do with the born. So same thing as saying nirvana is, do we say nirvana is deathless or death-free? The Pali word is amata. Now if we say deathless, then again it's like as if it doesn't die, so there is something alive there. Whereas if we say it's death-free, which very well translated amata also, we can say it has nothing to do with death. Same thing with the word time-free. But time is not too bad. You can still say nirvana is timeless in a sense. Time-free is kind of clearer. So anyway, here nirvana is non-born. It's nothing to do with birth, and therefore nothing to do with death either. And nirvana also is non-become. We don't say unbecome. It's got this strange feeling when we say unbecome. We say someone is unbecoming and something else. So somehow unbecome doesn't suit the whole situation here. Moreover, if you want to have beautiful translation, you would try to kind of have the same prefixes. So especially when they do fit. Non-become here fits very well. It's got nothing to do with becoming, with arising, and therefore with passing away too. Then you have the word akatan. Katan means created, in the sense of karma. And then here we have akatan, non-created. Again, if we say uncreated, it is something else. It means as if it can be created, but we were not doing it. Whereas we will say non-created, it means it has nothing to do with creating or with destroying. Then the last one is the most important. Again, this last one is very tricky. Asankata. The most common translation is again unconditioned. Again here we'll be using non as the prefix here, so it fits very nicely. We say non-conditioned, and I'm sure if you just listen to it, let the words sink in. You find non-condition sounds quite perfect in this context. It's got nothing to do with condition. Now these are words, so we have to be very careful not to get upset with words. This is one of those very important training we need to have as a Buddhist. We easily get upset with words. You just need to go to Facebook or one of those social media, even emails. You find something, you write something, and people get upset. They get upset because of their view, their reaction towards this thing. It's their own ideas that they get upset with. But of course, the writer, you get the blame because you send the email. So the point is, if we are wise, we just say, okay, these are words, all right? People mean something, but over time they will change. So my point is, you will still hear lots of scholars and teachers and speakers using the word unconditioned to explain Nirvana, and I think we can just smile and say, fine, I understand what you mean. The Pali word is asankata, right? So we're using all kinds of English words, but if you know some Pali, if you're a good sutta student or scholar, you in your mind you say, okay, what it means is this, and that's good enough for me. And until such time they understand better the nitty-gritty, the finer points of language describing something indescribable like this Nirvana. Okay, so here we are. The Buddha says there is this non-born, non-become, non-created, and non-conditioned. If there is no such thing, there is no escape from the born, the become, the created, and the conditioned. Now notice here again, I'm saying there's no such thing. But this doesn't mean Nirvana is a thing. It's just a conventional term we use to point towards Nirvana. So we can't really escape the wrongness of words, if you like. We use it with some provisions, some caveats. So this is the problem of language, if you like. So we reflect on what the Buddha says here and try to free ourselves from the words and get the meaning of it, in other words. So here the Buddha says in the last sentence, but Bhikshu, since there is the non-born, non-become, non-created, non-conditioned, then escape is discerned from the born, the become, the created, the conditioned. Now we come to the fourth and last sutta in the set, Nibbana Patisanyutta Sutta 4, U 8.4. That is the fourth discourse related to Nirvana, and the theme here is non-dependent, Anisita, the Anisita Nirvana formula. And here the translation is on page 40. Starting against the same, the Buddha is in Anathapindika's park, and he teaches the monks. The monks kind of are very attentive, the monks are very inspired, and the Buddha the Buddha utters this udana, this joyful statement on Nirvana. For the dependent there is wavering, there is instability. Nisitassa chalitang. For the non-dependent there is no wavering. Anisitassa chalitang nati. In the wavering there is no tranquility. Chalite asati passati. In the tranquil there is no bending, no bias. Pasadiya sati nati nahoti. When there is no bending, there is neither coming nor going. Natya asati agati gati nahoti. With neither coming nor going, there is neither birth nor death. Agati gatiya asati chutupapata nahoti. Where there is neither birth nor death, chutupapate asati, there is neither here nor there, nor in between the two. Nevida nahurang na upayang antarena. This is indeed the ending of suffering. Esevanto dukkasati. So here, of course, imagine the audience listening to these beautiful words that are in Pali or in the Prakrit, the dialect which the Buddha uses to teach these people, you hear the rhyme and the alliteration. Okay? Let me just read to you the Pali. Nisitasa chalitang, anisitasa chalitam nati, chalite asati pasati, pasatiya sati nati nahoti, natiya asati agati gati nahoti, agati gatiya asati chutu papato nahoti, chutu papate asati ne vidha nahurang na ubhayang antarena e sevanto dukkhasati. So you can see lots of rhyming there. There are lots of vowel endings. Okay, so let's look through each of these sentences. See what can we learn from them. Beginning with the first line. For the dependent, there is wavering. Dependent on what? In our samsaric life, we depend on our senses. And when we depend on our senses, we waver, meaning we tend to be fussy, choosy. We say, okay, this is nice, this is pleasurable, this is not, I don't know about this, because of our perception, our past experiences which we project onto the present. So that's wavering. And for the non-dependent, there is no wavering. So in other words, if we just say, okay, that's in the seeing, there is just the seeing, and then in hearing, there's just hearing, and so on. We see things as they are right here, right now. There's a simple example of we're not dependent on the pleasure and the displeasure, and so on. So we just look on, without any wavering. Now, on the other hand, if someone wavers, in the wavering, there is no tranquility, there's no peace, there's no joy. Now, this word tranquility, passaddhi, has a sense of both peace and joy. So we get caught up, looking, and so we're not happy because of this wavering. Is this good, or do I like this? How's this? All right. In the tranquil, there is no bending, no bias. Okay? Here, the tranquil means the mind is calm, we're no more caught up with liking, disliking. So we don't bend towards liking, we don't bend away from something we dislike. When there is no bending, there is neither coming nor going. So when we are not caught up with biases, liking, disliking, then we do not create karma, we do not think about, we do not create ideas, so there's no coming, no going, no activity in negative sense of the word. We neither coming nor going, there's neither birth nor death. So here, in the long run, when we practice, for example, impermanence, reflecting on impermanence, so we see this natural flow of rise and fall, and in the end, we attain at least 3 meaning in this life, and then we move on until we overcome both birth and death. So this is in the long run when we overcome this, all this mental activity coming and going. When there is neither birth nor death, there is neither here nor there, nor in between the two. Right? So when we are not born and die, we are not caught up with becoming human beings, or becoming devas, or divine beings, or some other form of non-humans, or we're not caught up in the in-between state, and so on. So here we see again this teaching on in-between state. It's all found in the early texts. And so if you are free from all this uncertain and impermanent but ongoing states of coming, becoming here, becoming there, being caught between the two, then suffering is really ended for you. You've attained Nirvana. So there are very beautiful words, very simple words, but amazingly profound. So do look through this 4 wonderful suttas. The Patisamyutta, Nirvana Patisamyutta Sutta series 1, 2, 3, 4. You can take any one of them, reflect on them, they give us a kind of deep sense of peace and joy, and so we understand, at least to some extent, the depth of the Buddha's teaching, and so we're inspired to practice further from where we are closer to Nirvana. Now once again we have enjoyed this wonderful piece of the Dharma, reflecting on the Buddha's teaching on Nirvana, on, in the sense, the final state of things, so to speak, when we are free from all kind of ideas and states, so that there is no more suffering. Reflecting in this way is wonderful good karma. But the power of this karma and the blessing of the three jewels, let us radiate loving kindness to ourselves, that we may be well and happy, to be blessed with good health and wisdom, to practice the Buddha Dharma and attain stream winning, at least in this life itself. And also by the same token, let us invoke the blessings of the three jewels and send out our loving kindness to our loved ones, people that have been kind to us, and those who are practicing the Dharma, that they may be well and happy too. And finally, by the power of the three jewels, may those who are seeking the truth, those who are lost, may they too see the Dharma in this life itself. May all beings be well and happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.